Hey everyone, the Teach Better team is live for our Wednesday wake up, where we get to go live every single Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern to kick off midweek, give you some energy. We have a good topic for today, and I also get to be live with Joshua Stamper. So any Wednesday morning that Joshua Stamper's in the house is a good thing. We'll be right back. Feel free to throw in the comments those good morning messages. Make sure to network and chat with those of you that are in the comments live with us, and let's get into the fun. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. Wake up with the Teach Better team. My name is Rae Hughart, and I have the one and only Joshua _Stamper in the house.
Good morning, Rae.
Good morning. I'm so excited to chat with you this morning. It's been ages.
I know it feels a long time before I got to be back on with Wednesday Wake Up, but I love start my day with you specifically and the Teach Better family that's in the comments right now. So good morning. Hopefully everyone's got their cup of choice. I've got some wonderful coffee this morning as usual. I don't know what do you have, Rae?
I have a double espresso right now, so that is going to kick in here in a minute. But I will say, Josh, typically for Wednesday Wake Up, if you're live, I'm not. Like, we've not been live together in like 100 years. So usually I feel like if I'm absent, you're hosting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have this weird dynamic where it's either Rae or me on screen, and then it's like Jeff and Katie are like the subs, right? Of like,
Right.
so it kind of balances out. So yeah, I haven't been live with you in quite some time, but very excited about our topic this morning, and I can't wait to dive in. And yeah, what's going on in your world right now?
I know, it's so good. Well, yeah, happy Wednesday to everybody. Hope you were able to get out there and vote if that was relevant in your area or community yesterday. I know a lot of us are waking up eager to hear some news. So happy Wednesday. I hope that you are slowly kind of getting ready for your day. Loving all the comments this morning. This always makes the morning better when we're able to see all of you as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. So we appreciate you being here. New with me, let's see. I have spent so much time juggling calendars. Like, can I get like anybody else feel like they're just constantly like I emailed earlier, Josh. I don't know if you saw the email I sent out to our email blast. If you're not, by the way, on the Teach Better team email list, direct message Josh or I will get you added. We just need your first name and your email. But I'm like in zombie mode, like constantly walking around, but then afterwards I'm like, oh wait, how did I get here? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, completely. I mean, my calendar is shared with my wife, but we have like 6 just between like our family, but then add on the Teach Better team, and it has grown quite a bit, and our schedules are just insane. So it's just because with 6 kids and all the activities, you're constantly juggling and trying to make sure you're in the right spot at the right time, and we fail often.
I mean, right. I mean, unfortunately, I just think that as educators or even just as human beings, as parents, it's just a constant struggle of where am I supposed to be? What am I late for? Where, like, how am I going to handle being at this location, but I have a responsibility at a different location? I feel like I'm just constantly juggling calendars. So I don't think that's an answer for what's new or how I've been, but that's my answer, Josh. I've been juggling calendars.
That is an answer. And I think a lot of people, especially this time of year, it's only going to get worse. I mean, we're getting into the Thanksgiving and the holiday season. So like, it's just going to intensify. So I think a lot of folks are in that boat right now. So, and in the comments, I can see people are identifying with that. So, yeah, if you have any tricks for us as we try to manage our calendars a little bit better, yeah, throw that in the comments for others to see, because I think that would be extremely helpful this time of year.
Yeah, and to be honest, I feel like my mother is always encouraging me to color code my calendar, and I'm like, it is, but there's still overlap that doesn't help with with the activities. Josh, what's new in your life? I know you obviously juggle calendars for a living, so maybe that aside, how's life? Happy November 9th.
Well, thank you. Yeah, life's great. I mean, I get to be a part of the Teach Better team now. So, I mean, just got to do some SEL work with the district, or ESC in Ohio, and that went really, really well. I got to talk about restorative practices, one of my favorite topics, and so that was exciting. And then working on a new course with Aaron, so that's coming out at the end of this month on kind of hard and crucial conversations. So that's kind of like the next project that's on my to-do list as we work through those videos, and super excited to get that content out and hopefully help some folks with kind of a controversial and hard place to navigate, especially as a teacher and an administrator these days. So hopefully there's some value that's taken from that course.
I am definitely not concerned about value coming from that course. I'm more concerned about our network not being patient for it to come out. It will come out at the end of this month, friends. I know a lot of us are eager to learn more from Josh and Aaron on that incredible topic. I like him. I remember the meeting where it was decided that you all were going to dive into this topic, and ever since that point, I'm like, gosh, it's so nice to make a good decision every once in a while that you're like, this for sure was the right move, having you and Aaron focus on a topic that I know is going to be so relevant to our Teach Better community.
Yeah, and Aaron's phenomenal. And I love it too because it gives us two different perspectives on the topic. So, Aaron's really capitalizing on like her experience as a teacher, where I'm going to kind of have that administrative lens. So, it's like no matter where you are in education, I feel like you're going to be able to get some value from this course.
Yeah, and we're all having tough conversations. So the better we can do that, regardless of which topic you're actually in that tough conversation with, the better. So I know this definitely is not like a course promotion. It's not even out yet, friends. So sorry, we're talking about something you can't go get. But in theory, after you celebrate the US Thanksgiving happening at the end of the month, right after that, you'll be able to snag this course. And obviously, if you're a Teach Better Academy member, it will just like show up in your dashboard. So I love that we make those courses so easily accessible. I also totally emailed someone yesterday who wasn't an Academy member that really was excited for this topic. And I was like, psst, just email me when it comes out. I'll get you a code so you can take the course.
I love it. Yeah, you said that like you put it in the bottom of the email. I saw that, and then some folks were responding, and that's exciting because that means that obviously it's a topic that people want to learn more about, and so yeah, it's just in my world right now. Like that's what I'm working on. So I know we're we're talking about something that's not coming out for like another 3 weeks, but I'm excited to have it launch and for get some feedback too from folks and see if some of the strategies are helpful for them in their everyday lives.
I will say, Josh, this is really relevant to I know where we wanted to take this conversation because I've been spending a lot of time, I was joking about juggling calendars, like supporting my grandmother has been in the hospital, which I know I shared on our Sunday weekly warm up. She's doing great. Thank you for all the loving messages. We're good to go. But one of the things that I've been doing with her is taking like stacks of books, like educator books that either I haven't read yet or haven't even had time to like look through, much less read, to the hospital, because I've then not only had some intentional time to look at them, but my grandma is an educator and was an educator for years and years and years. So she's finding all these different resources really interesting to her. So when you and I were talking about not only what's going on in our lives, but also what we wanted to bring to the show today, I think it's a weird time to do a book review, but I kind of think we should. I think we should challenge our network a little bit to say, hey, right this moment, you probably have no time to read and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. But maybe at the end of the month over Thanksgiving break, or maybe over winter break, you're looking for either a book for yourself so you can cozy up on a Saturday morning and maybe learn something new from a trusted author, or maybe you're looking for a Christmas gift or a holiday gift. I think we could probably put together a decent kind of review of some resources. And then if we miss a topic, Josh, they could always direct message us and we'll figure out what our, recommendation of that topic is. And we have plenty of time to do so. So kind of a fun challenge, I think, this morning.
It's fun, but it was difficult. I know, we were talking about it before we went live, and I have a very large bookshelf off screen, and it was difficult. There's so many phenomenal educational books out there. So I'm excited. I love this topic. I'm an avid reader, and thankfully with my podcast, Aspire to Lead, like a lot of authors send me books all the time, which is like a really wonderful perk that I get to learn from not only them in a conversation, but then also through text that they send. So yeah, it's going to be really difficult, and I apologize to all of the authors that I don't choose this morning. It does not mean that I don't enjoy your book. It's just like a quick poll and recommendation. So yeah, I love this topic.
I was thinking the same thing about the fact that you being a podcast host, so many educators that you talk to, I'm sure after you interview them, send you a book. It's such a blessing to be able to have access to books that people are sending you. But yeah, narrowing it down is impossible. Or like I was saying earlier, reading them is impossible. You get like a book a week, and maybe you can skim through it, or you know enough about the author that you can puzzle piece some things together. But until you have time to actually sit down and say, hey, is this a valuable resource I can really recommend to somebody? I know I have like books on the screen here. These are purely for display and the color effect. I have a whole bookshelf over there that there's no way that we could go through all the books this morning. It is way too early for that. So we'll have to pick and choose. And then if somebody asks about a topic we weren't able to touch on, we'll get them those resources. It'll be good.
Yeah, and they can jump in the comments too if there's a topic or a book that they recommend also. Like, make sure that you throw it in there. Because I mean, I don't know about you, Ray, but for me, I love getting recommendations myself to check out and to look into different authors and different resources, materials. So yeah, I'm also intrigued by our community and what they put in the comments.
It'll be so good. We'll be right back to dive into some of these resources we'd love to recommend. If you have something in mind already that you're thinking through over an upcoming break, you'd love to find a fun resource to support you in, throw it in the comments and let's see if we've got something for you. Hey everyone, we are live for our Wednesday wake up, getting into our teachable moment. We're going to do a little bit of like a book hunt. I don't know what to call this. We should have had a cool, fun name, Josh. A cool little book hunt recommendation. So as you're thinking of those few moments throughout the day, or a few moments throughout the morning, or a few moments right before bed when you are able to learn, if you're looking to cozy up with a good book, let's find a good educational book for you. Obviously, there's a lot of great stories out there. I think we're going to stay focused on those educational resource style of books, but there's a lot of good opportunities here to dive into a few different things for you, authors that are either within our network or that we have some connection to. Josh, before we get into this, full transparency, you know that I'm not a huge reader, and that's why I think it's funny to recommend books. I consume most of my content via podcast or audio. But I will say these books I think are worth reading, which is like a double emphasis. Like if I've read them, they can't be that bad.
Then it's really good.
Yeah. Or they wrote with really easy language for me to read.
Well, I think you bring up a good point though, Ray. Like, these can be something that you listen to also. I know plenty of educators that are strapped with time. I know we talked about the calendar being so busy that they want to consume information, but the only way that they could do that is in the car, potentially on their drive to work or coming back and whatnot. So I think that is quite the medium for folks to consume books, and respect anyone that's doing that, including to you. So that's no slight.
Well, and I know audiobooks are super beneficial. Shout out to Dave Schmitto, who's on the Teach Better team. He just sent me a ton of resources to consider for my growth and understanding of coaching and the grading topic. And they were all these articles. I just pulled them up on any electronic device. If you have a PDF or an article that isn't paper, it can read it to you. I use supports on my phone to do that. There's Chrome extensions to read what's on your screen. There's so many different ways to consume information. And to full transparency, even some of the books we're going to recommend today, I have in a digital form as well as the physical book. And so I just, consumed it in the digital form. It's kind of nice to have like the physical book though, isn't it? Like, I like the physical book. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty old school when it comes to a book. If I have my choice, I definitely will go with paper. But I do, it's funny that you asked about recommendations for books, and I went right to the paper. I didn't even think about what's on my phone. So, I mean, I have plenty of wonderful books that are on my phone that I didn't grab because it's right here.
Yeah. I know Andrea's in the comments saying that her dream job would be an audiobook reader. Andrea, as somebody who we love hearing your voice, I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, listen to a book that you read. So if you're secretly becoming a book reader, let me know. I will jump on that and be a listener. So Josh, there's a lot of places to start with this. Obviously, there's a lot of different books we could recommend. I know this is lame, but can we start with an easy little transition here? I have a children's book I'd love to recommend, and I have a book that I don't think is a children's book, but might be good for a family purchase or a family exploration. Can we start there?
I love it.
Okay. First and foremost, for those of you who saw Mickey Smith Jr. at the Teach Better conference, or if you just are around our Teach Better community, he also is a part of our Teach Better Speakers Network. So he goes out and works with our clients all the time. But he has a children's book called Little Mickey, Keep on Going. So it's the topic of his keynote. So if you enjoyed either being live with us at the Teach Better conference and listening to his keynote, or if you caught it on Twitter, because I know we were live streaming a lot of it, this could be a fun book recommendation. It's a really good story. He wrote it and did the artwork for it. So kind of fun connection there.
He's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so that is something that you can direct message Mickey for. I have no idea if this is available on Amazon. The fact that I have one, I'm not giving mine up because this is hard to get, but it's called The Adventures of Little Mickey Keep on Going. So definitely go check that one out. I knew that was an easy one to share.
Well, I don't have any kids books, so
I have one more before we get into real educational books, and I've shared this one previously. I don't know that I consider this a kid's book. This is just good for anybody, but it's larger, so I feel I guess it's some sort of book that I would put in the classroom. But it's called We the People and the President. This is one that we have featured on Daily Drop-In before because we interviewed the authors, but it has incredible infographics for social studies content. This would absolutely be something I would purchase for a child that is living in my home, or this would be great for exploration in the classroom, whether you're a social studies teacher or not. They're just really cool graphics to be able to learn about the presidents, the history of our country. That's my only two books that I was okay, if you're looking for that, go pick that one up. Where's the next place we should start?
oh goodness, I don't know. I mean, I always love, this book here. I'm going to pull it out real quick. Like I said, I have a very large stack. So if you hear books fall, that's why. But what about this one?
No, you with that
one? I pulled out specifically because, this is a great book. And you're not going to pull it. You're not going to put it in your stack. So I got to put it in my stack.
I'm not. Yeah, it's right here. But no, I wouldn't have pulled Teachers Deserve It. No way. I appreciate you pulling that. I think it's a cool book.
It's a great book. It's, right now there's a lot of folks that are feeling like they don't have enough resources or they're not getting what they deserve as teachers, and rightfully so. And this is a fantastic book, and it's got amazing contributing authors in there, a lot of great tactics, because that's the other piece. It's not just hey, this is what you deserve, but these are the things that you can do that are relevant to make sure that, you're making your environment a little bit better. So yeah, love it.
I appreciate it. See, this is good. I know Teachers Deserve It was a fun one to write because our goal was to empower teachers to go chase after what they want. So I appreciate that. Can I be lame then and talk about your book? Because your book's right here. I had no shame. I was going to pull this one out. But I mean, this is a book that we recommend all the time. So it's kind of comical back and forth. Your book, Aspire to Lead, is something that I am constantly encouraging any educator who is either currently in a leadership role or aspiring to be in a leadership role to grab. And I personally think it's the perfect read for something like we're talking about now, which is a Saturday morning consume it, because it's something that you can easily take action steps from. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was the real reason why I constructed the book in the first place was because I struggled as a leader or aspiring leader going from an art classroom to trying to become an assistant principal. And so I wanted to make sure that it was reading like a story, something that someone could just sit down and plow through and, get some guidance as far as what are you going to face here in the near future as a leader. And it's one of those things that a lot of times you don't understand until you experience it yourself. And I didn't want folks to go through that same trial and tribulation that I did. So I was hoping that they could read some really difficult stories and be able to navigate through that so that they didn't fail as miserably as I did. So I was very transparent in the book.
Well, something I really appreciate about your book, Josh, is that you wrote it knowing the people that were consuming it were probably in a little bit of chaos, right? They're aspiring for themselves to do more, so they're keeping a very busy calendar. They're somebody who is always on the hunt to be a learner, but also probably in a role that they're looking to transition out of. I love that you were able to keep your reader in mind and wrote a book to hopefully support that transition. So okay, so we have a little bit of an empowerment book that we shared. We have a book that's dedicated to educators who are looking to be more of a leader in their community, in their school district, whether it be in a formal or informal way. Another recommendation I always love to pull from is, and I know I talk about it all the time, but again, it's definitely one to pick up, a repair kit for grading. This is the 15 fixes. If you are an educator looking to enhance your grading practices in any way, shape, or form, this is a great book to grab by Ken O'Connor. Love this one.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to stick with the classroom. Ooh. With a buddy of ours.
Oh, that was next.
Teach your class off. So CJ Reynolds, amazing guy, amazing educator, fantastic on YouTube. Check him out. He was at Teach Better 22 also. But yeah, talk about stories. I mean, this guy is just representing Philadelphia. He's got an all-boys school that he has worked at for a long time, and he is just sharing all of his goofy engagement strategies and just how, the community was hurting and, trying to do his best to make sure that, the people that he was working with, he was pouring into and, they're just better because of the environment that he's created. So it's about classroom culture, about engagement strategies. He's just phenomenal. I just love every piece that he puts out.
CJ is an incredible person, an incredible educator, and a great author. So there's we literally could do an entire Wednesday wake up on just how cool we think CJ Reynolds is. I loved his book too because he had really good action steps that you can take right off the bat. So regardless of where you are reading the book, you're able to actually take something and apply it immediately if that's what you so choose. So he's also somebody, by the by, who's super accessible. I think that's kind of an element, Josh, that I value in a book. So maybe I'm pulling books because of that and doing it a little blindly, but I love being able to find a book that's easy to consume, easy to put action steps in place for, and easy to connect with the author or publisher to continue that learning journey. These are educators that more or less all have very active social medias, all respond to direct messages, and all value the fact that the people consuming this content are in the trenches and need really specific strategies that are obtainable. I don't know if you agree with that, but
100%. And a lot of these folks have additional resources too, on their websites and things that are free that correlate with their book. And yeah, I mean, CJ's on social media all the time. So, and then he's one of those folks that if you do DM, he's going to DM you back. He is accessible, and there's so many educators that we're going to talk about that's what they want to do. They just want to help, and they're not in it to make money. They're there to serve and to do their very best to make sure that everyone that's, trying to be better every single day, that they're there to help. So, yeah, CJ is amazing. But a lot of the authors that we're talking about, they're phenomenal people in addition to fantastic authors.
Well, and I think that's important because we were talking about how I was doing some book reviews with my grandmother. I think that's kind of the struggle with the two I'm bringing today. For example, these are two books that were given to me that were published within the last 20 years. So they're a little bit older. And when I say older, I don't mean that they're old books. I just mean some of the ones that we've mentioned were all published within the last 5 years, right? So we're in a very different space. This is the 10 Commandments of Good Teaching by Vicki Gill, and the Total Quality Total Quality Effective School by Lawrence Letts. And my struggle is I really am excited to look at these books, but I have no connection to the authors. So there's a little bit of bias or lack of bias, maybe is a better response, because I'm looking at purely just the content and the way it's written in this stagnant medium. I'm going to have to also be able to like look up the authors and see if are they on social media? Are they still alive? Can I connect with them? And that does add an element of the book, because I don't just want to consume something, put it down, and then never refer to it again. I love the interaction that I can have with an author to be a lifelong learner alongside them versus just consuming something that in 1992 they decided to publish with somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, completely.
So,
I'm gonna throw. Can I throw this up real quick?
please. That's huge too.
I know it's. I'm kind of sad that I didn't pull it. It's on my shelf there. But Kevin Butler's book, fantastic.
Love that one. Can I say Kevin Butler's book is one? So Kevin Butler, which you can grab his book on Amazon. Almost all of these you can grab on Amazon. Lights, Camera, Teach. Kevin Butler is part of our speakers network. He was at Teach Better 19 and 2022. But shout out to him that his book to me is like the perfect blending of educator discussion and just really fun picture book, because it is a chapter book, obviously focused on educational growth, but there are so many pictures and checklists. It's kind of like more interactive and fun in my mind. If I'm going to sit and read a book, I kind of want the pages to be more than just text. And the creativity and design that went into this book, I feel like really shared Kevin's authentic nature of not only talking the talk, but walking the walk.
Yeah, and there's a couple things I love with the book. Well, one, I got to contribute, so that was amazing in itself. But second of all, like pictures represent 1,000 words, right? So like it's one thing to read about an engaging strategy, but then it's another to see like how he's transformed the environment and then himself and the things that he's doing with his teaching strategies in a photo. And so that was extremely powerful. But then he's also got like perspectives from the kids in his class, and people that have gone through those lessons and have been in his classroom for years, and to share out. So I thought that was extremely powerful. I don't know of many books where, they have the kids represented as an author also. So yeah, phenomenal book.
Okay, we're talking about being personal and authentic. We have to then mention the book Personal and Authentic by Tom Murray. If you guys are not connected to Thomas C. Murray, he's been a really long time part of the Teach Better family. He wrote the foreword for Teach Better, the book that Chad, Jeff, and I wrote. And something I love about Tom is, again, all the things we've discussed, his accessibility, his ability to walk the walk, talk the talk. He's doing incredible work in education beyond just speaking. He's working at the government level to do a lot of incredible things. And he is constantly putting out content. One of the things that he did do recently was put out another book. And I love this one. I think this is like a great Saturday morning read because it reads like a story with also action steps. Every single chapter ends with a try this section or a stop and reflect section. And I just love how he put this one together.
Yeah, he actually was at our campus 2 years ago, and he spoke to our staff. And I have never seen my staff so energized after listening to him. And it was based on that book. But yeah, I love the work that he's doing as far as like with our country. He works in Washington, and then, what he's working with future ready schools and making sure that those essential skills are really being represented on campuses across the country. So Tom does a phenomenal job, not only speaking, but then of course in his books. And I almost grabbed that one too. So that's funny that you pulled that.
I was going to say, I know we're running out of time here, but do you have maybe one or two left that you really want to recommend? I have like two that if we don't talk about it, seem like would be really terrible. So do you have maybe two more?
Well, I have a lot more than two, but yes, I would love to. Eyes Are Never Quiet. I don't know if you can see that, but This is a book on trauma-informed strategies, but then also just really diving into the data of like what's going on in our country as far as trauma and chronic stress. So this is a text that I use when I talk to districts or ESCs, and something I refer to. So if you're interested in learning more about that topic, I would highly recommend this. It is more research based. It's not going to have like a ton of stories, but it does have some of that. But it's definitely heavy text too. It's really sad on some of the stories that they provide, but I think it's good as educators to understand like where our kids are coming from and the things that they're bringing to the classroom that we probably don't know about.
Okay, you're right. I don't just have 2. I have like 12. But next up, Complete Other Spectrum from what Josh recommended, because that's a book that will be heavy, challenging to read, but exceptionally important for us to be better in that space. This one is extremely easy to read. You could skip chapters and go to specific areas. This one's called EdTech Essentials by Monica Burns. This one I love because if you are an educator right now who came from teaching in a COVID world where technology was our only resource, seemingly, maybe before that you weren't a tech guru at all. Now we're trying to find our balance and when to use technology and when not to use technology. This one has so many different suggestions on first identifying the goal that you want the students to be working towards and then connecting you with technology resources to do so. So I love the top 10 technology strategies in this book. Super valuable.
All right, I'm gonna start like grouping books.
I know. What's our plan? Because I have like there's no way to not.
I'm gonna go with inspirational books. We're just gonna do like a fire these out. Inspirational. So Lead with Faith, Sarah Johnson. She's amazing. She's on our podcast network, in all podcasts, but her book is extremely inspiring. So make sure you check that out. Kids deserve it. This is one of the first educational books I've ever read with Todd Neslony, Adam Welcome. If you're looking for inspiration in the classroom, talk about strategies in just so many great, phenomenal stories about like how to change the culture in your classroom. So those are 2 off the bat that I'm thinking of. Just like if you're maybe in a rut and you're looking to like get that passion going again, those are 2 phenomenal texts.
Man, if we were grouping books. All right, I'm just going to name a bunch and then I'm going to quit and you guys can DM me and tell me that I didn't tell you enough about the books and you need to know more information. The Growth Mindset Coach, I think, is awesome. Really good read to think about your mindset. Making Assessment Work by our buddy Dave Schmittou. Definitely great to evaluate your assessment practices. And then I got to shout out Robert Dunlap for Strive. This is all about happiness. Like I would kind of include that not only in our inspirational, but also there's some research there. The importance of being happy. And then, okay, Josh, I'm done. One more. Moving Beyond, Carly Spina. Sorry, I love it. I love Carly Spina's work. Anything Carly Spina, sign me up. Oh, you have another Dave Schmittou one right there.
Poking the Bear. It just came out. Yeah. So I'm working through this right now with Katie Giordano and Dave Schmittou. So yeah, I'm going through this right now. But yeah, so far I love it.
Okay, if you had to pick one more book, and then people are just going to have to direct message us if we didn't cover a topic they wanted. Only one.
Okay, well then I have to go leadership because that's the realm. Okay, and this is someone that was a contributing author in my book that has no sway in my decision making on this last book. Right Through the 5. She's just amazing. Dr. Jill Seiler. She is such a phenomenal writer. Like it's one of those things I read the book and I was intimidated to ask her to write in my book because she's such a phenomenal writer, But then also in addition, like I've had a chance to have her on the podcast and meet her. And like, she's just such a genuine person. And like her stories resonate so well for anyone that's leading. So there's of course a bunch of actionable items, but I think she's just real about how difficult it is to lead a school. She's a superintendent. So like how hard it is to lead a whole entire district. So regardless of your leadership title, it doesn't really matter. This is just a phenomenal practical text to help you as a leader in going through that journey.
So good. Friends, we have so many different books on all different topics to recommend. I know this is a super quick audit of Josh and I grabbing a few to get you thinking, but our hope is that you are now thinking through what type of book you might be looking for. And if we didn't necessarily give you enough to feel confident to go out and seek that resource, let us know. We'd love to elaborate more on these stories. We not only love bragging about how cool our friends are by bragging about these incredible authors that are dedicated to supporting the educational field, but also if there's a specific topic you're hunting for, Josh and I would love to connect you with not only podcast episodes, but also like physical books that you could curl up on a Saturday morning and enjoy. We do have a morning challenge related to this topic coming up in a second, but first let's go to our community spotlight. Good morning, everyone. It is the Wednesday Wake Up with the Teach Better team, and we cannot move forward without calling out Brienne Fennell, who has been in the comments linking and tagging people, not only linking books on Amazon, which many that we recommend are easily accessible on Amazon, but also tagging people to know that we gave them a little shout out. So Brienne Fennell, always on the ball, going above and beyond.
She's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty fun to see the author that we just talked about like jump in and thanks for the shout out and whatnot. So love it.
So good. For our community spotlight today, we are highlighting somebody who is not only doing incredible work for our Teach Better family, for our community, but also there's something very special going on that she is a huge part of. So really quick, let's give a shout out to the one and only Andrea Coach Brenner, who is on our team. She is a training and development specialist for our Teach Better team right here. You can follow her on Instagram and Twitter, but oh my gosh, I have been friends with Andrea for years and years and years. And outside of creating the Teach Better Ambassador program, which we'll get to in a second, when we asked her what she loves about education, she wrote for us, connecting with students and finding ways to make reading and writing come alive for them is my number one goal. Classrooms should be a place for students to discover not just their subject area content, but who they are as people too. It's my job as an educator to support them throughout their journey. So Andrea is somebody that has had an impact, I know, on so many of us. Such a fun opportunity to highlight her here for our community spotlight.
She's amazing. And she's so sweet. Like,
Yes.
I didn't know Andrea very much like the last couple of years just because I wasn't really like in her departments within the Teach Better team. But like this last year, and she's in charge of the courses and she does such a phenomenal job leading that department. But she's just so kind and sweet, like all the time.
She has the best personality. She's an educator that gets overwhelmed, which I value because that makes her so human. To be able to be in a room with her and have her be frustrated about something, I really value when educators can share what's on their heart. And she's so transparent with what's on her mind. I so value that. But she's also exceptionally organized. Like you mentioned, she created our ambassador program with Megan. Thank God they did that because that's been an incredible core pillar of what our team is now. And then she runs our academy. Every course that comes out over the last 12 months has been because Andrea has been the backbone of ensuring that that project not only starts, but continues and then gets published out to our family. I don't know what we do without Andrea. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's super creative and innovative too. Like she totally redesigned like the structure of the courses and it runs so much more smooth now. And yeah, like getting to meet her in person too at the retreat and then at the conference and to see her in action, she just does a wonderful job.
She's also a really good source for a laugh anytime you need it. She was texting me yesterday because Josh, I know you and I just booked our trip. We're headed to Vegas right before the holidays, and she messaged me she like texted me and was like, "Rae, why are you and Josh going to Vegas? I want to come. I'll bring my outfits." Like she's always like a good laugh anytime you need it. If you have not added Andrea to your PLN, just do it. She's the best energy to have around. I love her.
She is hilarious. And anything with food too. Like she she enjoys eating and she just she's just so funny about it too. Like, I don't know what it is, but if you can actually go out and have a meal with her, I'd highly suggest it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my gosh. So good. Okay, for those of you who know Andrea, love Andrea, we also want to give her a very special shout out because her and Megan approached Jeff and I years ago. This must have been 2018 or 2019, and had this idea for the ambassador program. And at the time, we didn't really have any resources to allocate to it. We were just like, that sounds like a great concept, but we don't have anybody to actually make that become a reality. And her and Megan, over then the next 12 months, built what is now known as the Teach Better Academy, or I'm sorry, the Teach Better Ambassador Program. And the ambassador program then opened up applications twice and learned so much from that experience. Then they went through an entire revamp over the last 9 months to make the program as effective and efficient for anybody joining the family as possible. They developed a mentorship program within the ambassador program. They develop so many different benefits and opportunities that we are now able to offer our ambassadors. They essentially get first access to everything, massive discount codes. They get to participate in like exclusive professional development, exclusive focus groups, exclusive hangouts. They've truly become the core of so many of what you all get to experience. The ambassadors have a voice in kind of driving and developing with us, alongside us. And I don't know what we do without this program. And for the first time in over a year, ambassador applications are open again. And this is your opportunity to join the ambassador program. So if you've not done so already, here's a quick clip on how to get applying for this program. It's open right now, November 1st, all the way through the 27th. You have all month to be able to do it. It's a 15-minute application tops. So it's really, really quick and easy. And more than anything, we're just looking for educators who are interested in being a part of a supportive community. It's not going to take a lot of time week to week out of your day, but it will give you an environment that when you have the time to connect with intentional people in the education space and learn about relevant topics. So we'll be right back. Josh, I know the ambassador program is something we've talked about endlessly, internally. What are your thoughts on somebody who's still reflecting on if this is something they're going to apply for this November?
Well, I think it correlates to what we've been talking about, right? As far as trying to build into ourselves as educators, I think you need to make sure that you have a strong community behind you. We cannot do this work alone. It's difficult. If you're a teacher, if you're a leader on a campus, it's something that you need to make sure that you have someone filling you up as much as for your own mental health, but then also your development. And I don't think I knew the ambassador program was strong and it brought a lot of value to people, but I don't think I understood it until Teach Better 22 when that group came together and they started to talk about all of the ways that they interact with each other on a daily basis. I'm thinking maybe monthly, weekly. No, these folks are embedded in each other's lives and what they're doing in their classrooms. And to hear the stories of how each of them has helped them through a really tough couple of years in education was just, sharing these different stories just was like, okay, this is validation to a program that was built by two phenomenal people that you already talked about with Andrea and Megan. And it's only increasing. So like, I'm so excited to see the additional folks that are now going to be ambassadors and what they're going to bring to this already strong community.
Well, and I love your reflection, Josh, of the interactions that are happening outside of the planned exclusive professional development and all that stuff, because we talked about it on the Sunday weekly warm up. For those of you who may not have been listening, I would head back and listen to that. But there's not a lot of opportunity, there's not a lot of time for educators to connect. So when they do have 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes to network or be a learner, you want it to be as intentional and beneficial as possible. I think the biggest stress is when you're like, okay, I have 15 minutes to learn something, and you hop onto Twitter or you go to your go-to resource, and then you just feel like you scrolled and you wasted time, not really feeling like you got what you needed out of it. What I value about the ambassador program is, yes, you might engage with these people daily, or there might be about 7 days that you're overwhelmed and don't engage with them, but at least you know when you do, when you go back, it will be an intentional use of your time where something will have been discussed that you'll have been able to learn from, or there'll be somebody that you can discuss something with that can make you a better educator, which I really value. So such good stuff there.
Well, I think there's things in place for folks to pose a problem and then at their own time can come back to see the answers. So for instance, like the ambassador Facebook group, like people posting there all the time about things that they want to learn about, or maybe they're struggling with. And then it's just there for folks to post and give answers to, and they can come back to that. Or a Voxer group, right? Same thing. It's, you can listen to these messages whenever you want and are able to, and maybe it's on Drive or, just in between shows on Netflix, who cares? But like you have the ability to go back at your own leisure in your busy schedule to then consume what you can. So that's the other thing. It's not just like these one-off events that you can get PD from this group, which you can, but there's also these other communities that allow you flexibility within your own schedule.
Yeah, I mean, now that you're saying all that, even the exclusive PD that's provided monthly from educators around the world is recorded and then saved for only ambassadors to see in the academy. So again, you could listen to that on your drive if you missed it, or you're right. There's a lot of opportunities to be a learner in this crew. So again, the application is 15 minutes. The people that I've talked to have been hesitant of being unsure of what the time commitment looks like. I personally don't think there's any time commitment that I can really pinpoint for you. This is a networking group, so you're going to get what out of it, what you put into it. And if that's 5 minutes a week, or if that's 10 minutes a month, that's completely up to you. But I know a lot of the connections that happen in this group are quite organic, and I encourage you to choose to be part of it. So head over to teachbetter.com/ambassador, and we'll make sure that you get that application done, and it'll be a good time. I know, Josh, we need to wrap up our show here with a morning challenge. So we'll be right back. Hi, everyone. We are live and wrapping up our Wednesday Wake Up. Josh, it's been so fun to be live with you, to be able to talk about all these different fun resources and all these different incredible connections that we both have to be better learners that we want to encourage everybody here to choose to do. What kind of challenge do you think we can pose to our network this morning?
Well, first off, I feel like we needed like a 12-hour live to go through all of the books that we wanted to talk about. But no, I want to challenge everyone to pace themselves. I think you started off the show with a perfect place, just understanding this is a busy time. And for educators, it feels like there's so much on your plate, and that's rightfully so. But I want you to pace yourself and understand that there are times that you can learn and grow, but not to overwhelm yourself. If you put a stack of books on your desk and say, oh, I need to learn this immediately, or I want to gain this, because there is an excitement level, especially when you have something in your hands that's tangible, that is going to provide instant value. Of course, you want to consume that as quickly as possible, but you also need to understand that there's other things that are important that you need to prioritize, and there's no pressure. You can go at your own self-pace. So just to find resources that allow you to do that, right? So if it's a course in the academy, if it's a book, whatever it may be, like that, you're not putting too much pressure to just learn and grow at such a rapid pace, and that we have a long, long school year. It is a marathon. It is not, a 100-meter race. So make sure that whatever you're doing, you're not overextending yourself. And, again, mental health is obviously the most important thing. And reading is such a wonderful thing to enhance that mental health. There's something, I don't know about you, but after I get done with a great book, like I feel so much better about life. So I think that's a wonderful practice. You should at least read like 30 minutes a day. I think that's just a huge challenge in itself. But again, if it's 5 minutes, you're going to be better for that. If it's 40 minutes, fantastic. Again, you're going to be better for that experience and from that resource. So just make sure that whatever you're doing, you're not overextending yourself.
I really value the challenge to set realistic goals for yourself and then not feel shame for whatever they are. So really good, Josh. Thank you for going live with me. I know there's so much going on in the Teach Better family. So shout out to so many of you doing incredible things. We are sending our love to Jeff Gargis, who's continuing to be healthier and healthier every single day. So we're excited to hopefully get him on screen over the next few months. Shout out to Brad Hughes, who is feeling better. I know many of you missed him on Sunday. I know Katie's traveling, Dave's traveling, Chad's traveling. It's been a busy, busy week, but we are here for you if you need anything. So please message us at any point in time. Josh, I hope you have an awesome Wednesday.
Well, it's already started really, really well. So I'm saying I was in good company this morning. Thank you for having me, Rae.
Absolutely. We hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, friends. We'll see you later.